Okay, so here you can see a Raspberry Pi. It has a fan, HDMI output, micro USB for power, for standard USB ports, and Ethernet cable in. It also takes micro SD cards as standard memory. So here we see the Raspberry Pi's operating system. This is running RetroPi. This is what you'll see on your screen. It might not look exactly like this, but it basically will. It shows your games, what information's there. You have to get that information yourself, but that's easy enough to do. That could be a topic of a later video. It's really simple to navigate. You just use your controller, you can select your game, and it will run. You can also change the theme, like this is a theme based off the NES or Super Nintendo Classic system that Nintendo released a couple years ago. And yeah, it's a pretty easy to use operating system. All your games are nice and neatly organized. You can change a bunch of other various stuff and variables. Not much else to say here. I like the system. The UI, the user interface is great, and the operating system is really fast. Now we're going to add games to your Raspberry Pi. This audio might not be exactly synced up with the video, but just follow the instructions and it shouldn't be that hard from what you're seeing on the screen. I'm very sorry. So to get a game onto your Raspberry Pi, the easiest way to do that would be to make sure your Raspberry Pi is hooked up via Ethernet cable to your computer or to some network hub. Once you're there, once it's plugged in and powered on, the important thing is you have to make sure this is powered on. You'll then be able to access your Raspberry Pi files through the system. So you'll scroll down to where it says network. Once you're on network, look for RetroPi. Click on that. If this is your first time doing it, it might ask for a password. Username and password. The username is Raspberry. The password is PI or Pi. If it doesn't ask for it, you can just go right in. Okay, so the four folders are BIOS, configs, ROMs, and splash screens. Your BIOS. This is the folder where you'll put all your console's BIOS files. Sometimes it may also be put in the ROMs folder as well, but this is where you'll generally put them. This gets certain emulators to run, and you need to get the BIOS files yourself, but I'm pretty sure you can find it. They're really easy to find online. Who am I kidding? Just Google it. You'll be able to find BIOSes for every console. It may not be the most legal, but you can find it. Config files. This is where you'll see your configuration files for various games or emulators. ROMs, this is where you'll actually be putting your games, and splash screens is the folder where you'll see the screen initially. But you can change the boot up screen at that. You can make it whatever image you want by putting that file there. But the most important folder is the ROMs folder. Once you're in the ROMs folder, you will see a bunch of different like emulators or folders with the various console names. What you do is once you get your ROM file, put it in the corresponding folder. For example, if I have a GBA game, I'm going to put it in the GBA folder. Or in this case, if I have a PS1 game, I'll put it in the PSX folder. Or that's what it was called. The PlayStation, that's what the original PlayStation was called internally at Sony, was PSX. Or the PlayStation 1 is what we colloquially call it in the games medium. So yeah, once you get your files put in here, the next cut will then take you on how to get a video game file, a ROM, and then put it into your Raspberry Pi. So to get our ROMs, we're going to go to Vimslayer. Vimslayer is spelled VIMM'Lair. It's a really good site for ROMs. Though it doesn't have the most wide selection of games, it does offer most retro game consoles that you'll actually care about. Like your PlayStation, Genesis, Super Nintendo, Nintendo Entertainment System, Dreamcast, PS2, and even Wii. Bunch of good stuff here. It's a really good site. So for this example, we're going to be downloading a PlayStation 1 game. Some PlayStation 1 games are multi-disc. This is a bit harder to emulate, not impossible, but there are other videos that can help you out with that. For this example, and the simplest way to do it is just to get a single disc game. So we're just going to grab a random game from the internet that I hear is pretty good. How about something like one of the Digimon World games or something like that? Well, the footage will eventually catch up. I hear Digimon World 2 and 3 are pretty good, so we're just going to get World 2. So then you just click on download. It's real simple. It starts to download. At the bottom there. And yeah, you're good. Mission accomplished. You got it. Okay, so now we're actually going to put the game on the Pi. This is a really simple process. So I put the file that we got onto the desktop for the ease of use. We're going to highlight it. We're going to right click on it. We're going to extract the files from within it. I'm using 7-zip for this, so you can use whatever file extracting software you want. Wait for that to get done. Now we have this. Now this folder, we're going to click on the Digimon 2 World folder. We're going to copy both files in here, not the bin or the cube. We're just going to put, we need both. Particularly for the PlayStation 1, you need both files. We're going to go back to RetroPi, go back to our ROMs folder. Let's just do that. And there we go. Scroll down to where it says PSX, and then we're going to paste. Okay, cool. Now the game's in there. All right. You can see on the bottom there, our game's in there. And and this is actually really important. Once your file is in, just make sure you reboot your Raspberry Pi. Then you go onto your Raspberry Pi, navigate, and you'll find your game right then and there in the correct folder. It's a real simple process. Hope you enjoyed the video.